Hi, welcome. Hi, Aaron. How are you?
How's it going? What's happening?
Um, I'm good. I'm tired as always, but that's life. You must be tired of doing this press run, talking about this phenomenal series.
No, you know what? I mean, there is a lot of press, but
Mm,
I feel like it's really important that, we have an opportunity to speak to people about this, especially given, the things that you know, we're speaking on in the series.
that's fair. I'll give my intro for the podcast version. Hi, I'm Akua Gyamfi, founder of the British Blacklist, and I'm here with a wonderful actor. Actually, no. How do you describe yourself? You introduce yourself.
You do it. I'll just introduce myself as Aaron. So I'll let you I'll let you
That
do it.
it? No, because you do stuff. You're an actor. Do you write? Do you anything else? Like, because I feel like we downplay our skills, and I don't want people to. I don't want to let people get away with doing that.
Um, okay, you're putting it on me.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna say I like to tell stories, actor, and I like to write too.
There you go. See, that wasn't too hard. So how you doing? I was saying how you are, but and you were saying, yeah, you were just saying that the importance of being and talking about shows like this. So I mean, you're in the Underground Railroad. You play Caesar. Can you tell us a bit about your character? Um, and also just something that clicked with you about Caesar, why he's such an important character to say yes to.
Yeah. So Caesar is um, Caesar is a young man who was raised in Virginia,
Mm.
um, and he was promised manumission. That manumission didn't come to fruition, um, and he was taken to a plantation in Georgia. And at that plantation in Georgia is where we, as the audience, first meet him and interact with him. Um, and I guess, one of the many things that attracted me to Caesar as a character, and one of the reasons I was so, determined to want to play him and bring him to life in the right way is because I just really admire and respect his level of emotional intelligence,
Mm.
his level of um, manifestation, and the way that he is able to manage his reality in a way that doesn't eat him up and engulf him.
Pain and suffering. It is time to go.
Because I watched the series and it's a hard watch, but also it is that I mean, obviously you're acting and you're playing a character. However, there's an element of knowledge, right? You know what it is. You live in the now. So you kind of know what we've been through. You got to kind of unpack or get rid of everything you know today and then approach his character as something that you don't know, his experience as something that you don't know, because you got to be him in the moment. Was that difficult? And I don't mean to undermine your skill as an actor, because obviously you learn characters and you become them, but was there anything that you had to reconcile within yourself in order to help Caesar be more realistic to us watching and to yourself as the man playing the character?
I think, I think that's a really, really thoughtful question, and I think, um, when my personal approach to this project and the character was, I want to tell the story as truthfully and as authentically as I possibly can. And B, in doing so, I really need to ensure that my mental, spiritual, and emotional well being is intact throughout that process. Um, and I have to give thanks to Barry uh,
Mm,
for allowing that to happen because, for me, Barry is the epitome of a leader and a director. And what he did was he managed this whole project and everyone involved with such care and thoughtfulness, and our well-being was at the forefront of everything, especially given how challenging, like the challenging subject matters that we're dealing with.
mm,
And he also ensured that we had a guidance counselor on
mm,
set at all times. And I think I've said this before, I think irrespective of whether you utilize that service or not, sometimes it's just the knowing that there is someone there if and when you need, to help you out of that dark space and, talk you out of that mind frame. It's really important and crucial.
What were some of the scenes? Because yeah, I spoke to Barry and he mentioned that, and he was thinking about who would need that care more, and he was surprised at some of the cast who felt like they needed the support more and who didn't. We were just talking about how important it is to have those kind of environments when you're telling these type of stories. What was one of the more harrowing narratives that you were part of, or just generally of the series that you had to take 5 minutes and like, okay, cool. I know when I leave this set, it's not like this.
Yeah, I'll be real. All of it was challenging.
Sure, sure.
And I think, I just feel like as a young Black man who is part of the diaspora, I feel like for me personally, any story that is told about any part of the diaspora is affecting to me, and deeply affecting to me. So I found all of it challenging, and regularly had to check in with myself, and ensure that I was in a positive mind frame, because these things really happened, for a large number of individuals against their will, and their realities were horrific. And to process that is very difficult, especially when it's, when you're there and having to tell that story. It's challenging to process that at any time, but particularly when you're in the middle of telling that story, it's very challenging. But as I said, Barry really looked after everyone involved.
And what was it like actually? I mean, it's Barry Jenkins. I was doing the same thing to you that I did to him, that, who are you? Celebrate who you are. He's an important storyteller for us as Black creators, primarily, I think. But what was it like being in his presence and working with someone like that? And maybe you say that you felt protected on set with, the way he maybe commanded the set, controlled the set. What was it like being in his space, and what did you learn from him possibly?
Wow, I learned so much.
Yeah.
He's so entirely generous with his experience and his knowledge, and is so more than willing to sort of share that experience and knowledge with you to help you along your journey and to guide you in your journey. And as a young Black man, that is very important to me, to receive that advice and that guidance, especially from someone who is so far into their journey and such a master of their craft. Everything he said to me was insightful and was gold dust. And everything he said to me, I keep with me on my journey going forward.
And you've also, actually, the conversation, what's interesting about Underground Railroad is that the cast, you've got Sheila Atim from the UK, you've got Thuso, who's South African. So you're smiling because we love Sheila. But what was it like actually being Brits in this space? And there is that conversation about who has the right to tell stories, especially about African-American narratives and his stories, even though it affects all of us. I don't know what your heritage is, if you're Caribbean or African, but everyone, that these stories resonate with myself, being a Ghanaian Brit, Sheila Atim, and then Thuso. So it's not one person's story, but I don't want to undermine the conversation from people who live in America, the African Americans from America, like, this is also our story that we're very protective of. But what was it like, you guys telling this story together? And it was such a mixed heritage cast telling this story.
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. For me, I think how I viewed this experience was, this story is, we're telling specifically an African-American story. In this series. That's what we're doing. But for me, the way I understand it is, this African-American story is part of the diaspora story as well. So I feel like, it's okay for others in the diaspora to feel affected by it, to feel connected by it. It's not untangible for us, and I think there is a growing understanding of that now, that we all when it's people that look like you going through traumatic experiences and people who have a traumatic history, we all feel it, you know, we all feel it, and we all want to be there for one another and support one another and uplift one another so we can move forward together, you know, and all win, you know. It's, yeah, and I think also just to talk on your point of the cast, you know, it was such a diverse cast, you know. There were, you know, we have, you know, myself who, you know, has a Caribbean and West African heritage, you know, Jamaica, Curacao, which is in the ABC Islands, and Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
You have, you know, Sheila, you know, Uganda, you have Thuso, South Africa, you have Joel, who is Australian, you know, you have, like, there were so many of us, you know, William Jackson Harper is an African American, you know, we have so many of us from all over the world, and we all came together as a family with the same objective, which was to tell this story as truthfully, authentically as possible, and to honor those who went through it.
And I think it comes across 100%. And on a more lighter note, it is that thing, you're with Sheila, you're with the Brits. What's it like being on a project with the Brits? And also, what were you going to say? What are you saying?
Sheila's my G.
Yeah, she's beautiful, man. She's wonderful. But it's just that, because you're in Krypton with Georgina Campbell, and just being on projects. And I know, like, I think I've read that you weren't initially planning to be an actor, but then here you are in something made by Barry Dam Jenkins and the like, and other shows. When you have your moments to yourself, and you're pinching yourself saying, what the hell? What's that kind of, is it surreal?
Very, yeah. Every day. Like, I just, yeah. I think every day I just have at least one moment where I just reflect and say, wow, like, this journey has been really blessed and full of really exciting opportunities. And I just thank God for the opportunities that he's presented in my life. And I, hopefully it continues by the grace of God. You know, we move.
Oh, you definitely move. You're gonna move. You're gonna capture people's attention with these projects that you're in. And I guess I've got so many things to ask you, but let me pick. I don't even know. You did do actually the Black by Roy Williams for the Bush Theatre. Can you talk about that? Because I think that was really, really powerful. Just what that was like.
Yeah, that was that was I wasn't expecting that question.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Just because I'm like, I've got so much to ask and never enough.
No, it's really, no, I appreciate that you looked into it. Yeah, so basically just, you know, the team at the Bush Theatre, during that time last year when emotions were very high and everyone was feeling very affected, they just reached out and said, you know, would you like to collaborate on this piece written by Roy Williams? And I was just like, absolutely, like tell me what I need to do, because I think sometimes it can be hard to know what to say.
Yes.
But sometimes we can find a way to say what we need to say through art. And that, you know, that was an opportunity to do that, you know, to work with Roy Williams and, you know, the amazing team at the Bush. You know, it was like, that was, I guess, a way that I could express what I was feeling internally during this really devastating time.
What you want, what you expect me to do now. Tell me what you expect. I'm scared. No word of a lie. Fix yourself.
I think you did that, and I think that's important. I think speaking to the characters that you play, especially with Caesar in Underground Railroad, and what you're saying about expressing and telling stories, and it's important for us to see these stories being told in an authentic way and us having ownership of those narratives. So long may it continue.
I appreciate it.
See you do more stuff. And we've got to go. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll speak soon anyway.
Yeah, we will. Take care.
Bye.